I want to start off by saying I had no clue what I was getting myself into when I started this project. I take this route to school every single day. It occurred to me recently that somebody else just like me could be taking a route like this every single day. Only they're not going to school. They're going to be sold. Marietta is 31 minutes away from Atlanta, Georgia, also known as the sex trafficking capital of the U.S., and home to one of the largest sex trafficking airports, Hartsfield-Jackson International. Yes, behind our beautiful city streets lies a dark secret, but many still don't know what sex trafficking is, how it works, why it's thriving in Atlanta, and what we can do to stop it. Sex trafficking is the physical, mental, and emotional exploitation of women and men for the purposes of sex. Sex trafficking works almost like a business, as a supply and demand. As long as there is a demand, there will be a supply. It works one of three ways in order for them to get their victims, or in other words, slaves, because this is modern-day slavery. Sex traffickers use a number of methods in order to get their traffickees. One of the main ways is luring them in with the promise of a better life. The way they do this is by preying on people who have family problems or most of the time are in the foster system. The second most common way is that these people are in fact kidnapped. Most of the time, though, this doesn't happen off of the streets as there are so many witnesses, but in the event of a natural disaster like an earthquake in Haiti, where people are no longer documented. And the third and final way that most sex traffickers get their victims is that they are sold by their families. While talking to some experts on the issue, they refer to this as the major issue why sex trafficking can't be stopped. It's because the scale of it isn't just sex traffickers with hundreds of girls being sold. It's a father selling their 5-year-old. Once traffickers get their hands on their victims, they work tirelessly in order to build their trust so that they won't run away or leave. They then drug them. Usually they're drugged from the time that they enter to the time that they leave. And one story I was told by the woman that had gone through her safe house had been drugged and part of the sex trade since she was 6 years old. She had not gone to school, and she had nowhere to go when she was aged out of the system. The common age for a child to enter sex trafficking is 14 to 16, but this is an average, and children of all ages, mostly under 18, can fall victim to sex trafficking. It's also notable that the average life expectancy of somebody in the trade is around 7 years. The lucky few that are able to make it out of this sex trade will go one of three places. Either onto the streets as homeless, they will go back into the sex trade, or they will go to a stage 1 safe house. The biggest weapon that sex traffickers have in the modern day is not guns, drugs, power, or weapons of any kind. It is social media. Social media is bigger than ever and given us access to things in ways we never imagined. But it's also given access to guys and girls who aren't serving the best interests of the community, such as sex traffickers. Sex traffickers use social media not only to buy and sell, but to pick out potential targets, to find out intimate details, like where they go to school, who their friends are, what activities do they do. This helps them. So much of what we believe sex trafficking to be true and entail is in fact not. Our misconceptions of the entire idea are what put us in danger when they, in informing, could be saving lives.
Pop into your head. That's understandable. Research has shown that when we don't have firsthand experience with an issue, we craft our understandings based on media representations. But this is the Hollywood version. The reality is often very different. By definition, trafficking means forced work. A victim of sex trafficking is someone who is forced to work in the sex industry against his or her will.
Three major misconceptions about sex trafficking. They include what a sex trafficker looks like, who is a target, and the scale on which sex trafficking happens. I wanted to address these because they are major and essential to understanding sex trafficking. First one being what a sex trafficker looks like. There's no set requirement for what you're supposed to look like when you're a sex trafficker. Sex traffickers could look like anybody. They could be a stranger on the street, it could be your parent, they could be your best friend, or again, somebody you would never talk to in your entire life. But one of my mentors gave me a good rule of thumb. Always be cautious of somebody who knows too much about you and things that you did not reveal. The second major misconception is the scale on which sex trafficking happens. Sex trafficking happens on both a local and global scale. It affects different countries, our entire world really, but also us. As I stated previously, Atlanta is not far from here. It is one of the major hubs for sex trafficking. It's not just a faraway issue. It's close. And it poses a real danger and a real learning opportunity for all of us to educate ourselves on this matter. And the third misconception that I found was who's a target. A target is anybody within that age range stated previously in this video. Mostly it's anybody under 18 years of age. A sex trafficker is not looking for a specific race, gender, or ethnicity. They are simply looking for a person who will be cost effective and they will get use out of. Because in most cases, they are not looking for a person, they're looking for a product. Modern-day sex trafficking is a direct violation of Amendment 4 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, created by the UN. It states the right not to be enslaved. For all of us who thought that slavery had ended in 1865, think again.